Coming up on the Sunday roast, powered by PointsBet, it looks like it's going to be a Gold Coast Adelaide grand final, Das.
Jev, well, lucky enough, we actually get that next week for round 3 when those two match off. But Jev, Thursday night, the Bombers get it done. The Blues are weak as water, Jev. Get me in a Blues jersey. The amount of effort that I can put in a 2-4-6-8 challenge, get me in a Blues jersey, Jev. I'll perform harder.
The Suns were an absolute pleasure to watch at the MCG. They are that good, and Melbourne are cheats and in trouble. Hawks win again. They just know how to win. They get it done. The pressure's now on them. They're premiership or bust, I reckon, Das. And the Lions have just become professional winners. They just win.
Jev, 100%. And then if you go versus the Crows, it's going to be a track meet. I don't know who you're going to stop. They've got forwards everywhere and everyone can score. And then, Jev, the Derby, I don't know how to say it. They get it done. Sarong, another 35 touches. They were awesome. West Coast, geez, they're going through some more teething issues. But, Jev, you guys know where to find us at 100K Sports. Like and subscribe. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. Share it to your nan. I'm sure she wants to hear everything about round 3.
And now, 100K Sports and PointsBet presents the Sunday Roast.
Welcome back to the Sunday Roast, the show that celebrates the winners and roasts the losers. This show is brought to you by PointsBet and Rick's Eyewear. Joining me as always, Darcy Ballard-Dobe. How are you, brother?
Jev, I'm good. We've had a massive weekend of football again. Let's go back to Thursday night, Jev. So the Bombers pull off an upset. I don't think anyone saw this coming. The primetime underdogs. I think Port Adelaide thought they were just going to come in, kick their ass, and then leave. It was just a bit of a business trip. But this team looks so subpar with a few missing pieces. Obviously, Lukosius out of the side. Georgiades can't hold up and carry this side. And it's amazing how different they look without Zach Butters, because it looks like Horne-Francis and Rosie don't want to take over. Yes, I know the week before that they absolutely belted up the Tigers, but I feel whenever the Tigers are on the road, they're going to be a bad side. But they need to know how to win. Jev, they made the prelim final last year. They are not going to get anywhere close to that. If they play like this, they couldn't run out the game. So I thought they were extremely disappointing, but you got to give your flowers to the Bombers. I bashed them all year, all off season. I actually thought they had a really good game. They had a few guys that really stepped up late. I thought Caddy actually kept presenting. Obviously, he got dropped the week before, and he looked really pissed off. So for him to stand up late, kick a goal, was really good. And yeah, obviously the crowd, every single time they kicked a goal late, I think they kicked 3 or 4 to start the last quarter, they pandered the crowd, and the crowd felt like it was a grand final. They were going nuts. They were swinging the scarves. So good on them. Yeah, but Port Adelaide, Jeff, they have to have a good hard look at themselves. That was weak as water.
Yeah, I'm happy for the Bombers. They needed that win. They got it. You're right. The Essendon fans were passionate at Marvel Stadium on Thursday night because you can tell they're pissed off, and I don't blame them. Brad Scott came out during the week sort of saying we're in a bit of a rebuild. The list isn't suggesting they're in a rebuild. Zach Merritt doesn't sort of think they're in a rebuild. You don't pay Ben Mackay 1.4 a year to be in a rebuild. Zach Merritt's in the prime of his career. I actually don't – that part I didn't get. But, yeah, it was good to see. It was a pretty average game of football, average standard. Horne-Francis was average. Connor Rosie had a bit of a shocker. And then the Bombers were playing fine, but then they broke it open in the last quarter, as you said. It was good to see. I'm happy for the Bombers. I think Zach Merritt's the number one player in football right now. I don't think there's a person playing better footy than him. If there is, you're going to have to tell me as the pod goes on that we saw this weekend. There's a couple we might have saw on Saturday. But he is definitely going to be in top 3 of the pyramid. I think that's fair. He's playing the centre forward role better than anyone in the comp. He didn't kick the goals on the weekend, but then he's laying tackles. He's doing all the stuff that Essendon needed to win. Like, he sort of won that game from the last quarter. His ball use wasn't as good as normal, but happy for the Bombers. I want to give a shout out to Zach Reid, Das.
Yep.
The fullback. He got bathed the first 2 weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Bathed. And, like, it was just like, this bloke sucks. Every Essendon would hate him. He must have some serious self-belief in himself. He was biting off kicks in the corridor, backing himself to take intercept marks. Like the first 2 weeks hadn't phased him at all. He's like, I don't care, 13 games. I'll just go out, have a bit of fun, just do what I do. And he just played well for a bloke that I thought's confidence would have been buried under Etihad or Marvel Stadium. So happy for him. Happy for Zach Merritt. Bathwater Caddy. It was good to see him finally kick a snag.
Yep.
He was reading his own headlines all off season. It's finally good to see him get going. Isaac Kako looks like he's going to be an absolute freak. The Sam Draper one's funny. He is dominating games. He is putting up some good numbers at the moment, Das.
Yep. Kicking goals.
He walks off with a couple of, what did he kick this week? 2 goals, 9 touches, 10 hit outs. So the hit out part of it's a bit, but like he looks like and gets good shots at goal every single week. And then Nick Bryan sort of carries him down. You got to, so that's like, if they're rebuilding, let him go. It's the highest he's ever going to be valued for right now. And if they're not, and you don't think you are rebuilding and you think Harley Reid's coming to town, keep him, get Harley Reid in the door, and away we go. So good to see the Bombers. Geez, Port Adelaide lack some talent. And this was the exact, what, as you said, we picked it before the season started. We could not believe their over-under was 14.5.
Yeah.
Could not believe their over-under. They do not have the talent to be 14.5. I know they're missing Zach Butters and it's hard, but if we can see it, if we can just watch that game and see they don't have enough talent, Zach Butters can see it, and it is going to be hard to keep him if they don't play finals this year. 100%. If you go from prelim to missing finals, and he's going to get offered 1.7 a year for 6 years or 1.8 a year, it's sort of like, yeah, I can see him leaving for sure.
You know who else doesn't read the headlines? Dylan Shield. He went out and had 25 touches, Jeff, and even he was biting off kicks.
Yeah.
Like for someone that's usually, when you watch him, whether he's down on confidence and he's just not finishing running through his kicks or there's so many times last year where he could have run into an open goal and he went to pass it off just because he'd missed so many and he just had the yips. He looked like he was trying to use his toe on Thursday night as much as he could and actually break some lines. But Jeff, they just had so many guys that couldn't get their hands on it. So Rosie only had the 22 touches. I think he had what do you have in the last quarter? And that's with pretty inflated numbers in the last.
He had 13 at three-quarter time, I think. So I think he had about 11 or 10 in the last.
10 touches in the last. So he was pretty much irrelevant for the entire game. Dope Thursday's lost again, Jeb. So I'm zipping 3.
How many legs does? When you put out 5 legs, I was like, bro.
Yeah, but my almost certain leg was the first one, was Sam Powell-Pepper goal. I'm like,
he didn't kick one.
No, everything else hit. So
I like betting on Essendon, an all right team to bet on. Don't like betting on Port Adelaide. Can't trust them.
Yeah, I know, but when they come out the week before,
and everyone gets a touch and
goal kickers, and when Essendon had 1 million goal kickers kicked on him against Adelaide, I'm like, Sam Powell-Pepper's just going to pop up. He's going to have one.
Do you have any odds for this game?
Yes, I do. So we'll go through. So I know Zach Merritt had 34 touches, Jev. So he was $1.85
for 30.
Yeah, for 30.
That's his line, 30.5. Like, that's the form he's in right now.
Keep going. What are some other numbers we got?
Do you want touches?
Yeah.
So Wines had 30.
Wines had 30 as well. He was $1.95, which is still pretty short for him.
Short. And then Dersma, 25. Go to 25. There's a few 25ers.
Dersma. Shit, don't think you can even get Dersma. You can't even get Dersma for 25. Who else you got?
Moraes, the young kid. What could you get him for 25?
Nope.
Burgoyne? Anyone points bet. Come on.
You're Radigalea. You can get Radigalea here.
Good. Go to goals.
Yeah, goals.
Georgiades 2, Caddy 2, Burn Jones 2, Draper 2.
Yeah, there weren't many big goals, were they?
No, it was just a bit of a doggy's guts game.
It was. No one kicked 3.
No one kicked 3.
Georgiades 2, $1.50. Who else? Caddy $1.90.
Burn Jones.
Darcy Burn-Jones, 310. He's a tough one to bet on because sometimes he goes forward, sometimes he plays back.
Yeah.
Sam Draper was... Couldn't even get Drapes. This is doggy's guts. It was the doggy's guts game to bet on.
Because I can tell you're delaying it. The Carlton Blues lose their 3rd in a row. They lose to the Dogs by 8 points. I can tell. I want to hear it all. Talk to me about the Blues. Talk to me.
So I think we're the only team to go zip in 3 in the 18-team era, and we've done it 8 times. The next best is like 5 or something. We cannot start a season. We're just dogs' ass. So, as I said, I actually can't put my neck out for the Blues anymore until I watch us win. When we've won 2 of our last 12 games, there's something wrong. And look, I know Jagger did his ACL at the start of the season, but he never played a game. So you got to put a line through him. Yes, we're missing Harry. Yes, we're missing Elijah Hollands. And you've just got these guys where apparently you've done this full preseason. And I watched the practice match against the Giants and we won by like 60 points. It's like, all right, well, this looks pretty sharp. And then we can't run out a second half. You've got guys that are so fumbly. If Cripps has a quiet game, which he did a little bit on the weekend, he looks sore, he looks battered. If it's not DeConing, we don't have anyone else. Yes, Charlie kicked a couple. Yes, Kemp actually finally looked like Jared Waite and came out and had a 5-goal performance, which is awesome. But our backline's just, if it's not Wiedering, who else is going to stand up? Lewis Young was going forward then back. We just have no players that can run out a game. Sam Doherty, Jev, got to put a line through him. He looks like a shell of a man. He cannot run.
He cannot
run out a game. He can't turn. He genuinely looks like that he has a bad ACL right now.
Yeah.
And then, there's so many other guys. Frankie Evans is in the side. We drafted him. Please get rid of him. Take him back to Port Adelaide. I don't know what we have to do to send him back to Port Adelaide, but send him there. Jordan Boyd, same thing. Came on as a sub. Didn't really have an impact. McGovern, the first entry of the game. Did you see it come in? Got the yips, dropped the ball. Like, that's exactly where he is. It looks like that Zach Williams has done his Achilles. So
he didn't tear it off the bone though, did he?
I haven't heard back, but it didn't look good. Didn't sound good. And as you said, when we were doing well, you got to have the cobblers cobbling. And the fact that Ollie Hollands is not having an impact on a game at all as a first-round draft pick, 12 touches. Cottrell not having an impact, 14 touches. Lockie Fogarty, again, 11 touches, no impact. Lockie Cowan's a key back, so I don't really worry about him so much. Blake Acres, 15 touches. I think he went about 30% by foot. No impact. That's a reverse impact. So we've got these guys that are just on the ground having no impact, and we're just not going to win games with them.
Yeah.
Can I tip my cap though? Silvani, I absolutely love him. God, he has a crack.
So good.
He has a crack. He gave Norton a bath, and you could argue whether that snap was a point or not. I don't really care, because we didn't do enough work to win anyway. But he gave Norton an absolute bath, so he can hold his head high. But God, Jeff, we're just a bang on every side, and I don't know where this next win's coming from.
Yeah, so there's like 3 pictures of the Blues right now. Number one is, what was the tattoo I got on me before the season about Carlton Dust? Don't have leg speed, can't defend leg speed. Got that tattooed on me.
It's a good tat.
What did Carlton do over the preseason? Because you're not fast, you can't kick, and you can't run out games. Yep. I don't get what they did over preseason. You look tired every fourth quarter. You don't have any blokes that just carve you up by foot. You go watching the Crows, then watching the Blues is like watching 2 different sports at the moment.
Yeah.
And then there's no leg speed on the field to break a game wide open with speed. So I just don't know what you were doing preseason. Dus, what is this? What is this thing? Do you know what this is?
It's a phone.
It's a phone. This thing works. I'm still waiting on a call from Terry from the Blue Abroad to apologise for the Will Ashcroft, Sam Walsh take. That was a win by me, and I knew it was on the day, and he's gone, who would you rather, Will Ashcroft, Sam Walsh? He's like, Sam Walsh, sure. I'm like, no, you wouldn't. You would not take Sam Walsh any day of the week. Tom De Koning is now Carlton's best player. He is your best player right now. It goes De Koning, Wiedering, and then probably Pat Cripps. He is been awesome. We were talking about, he's nearly on Brownlow watch. He's playing that good of footy. He is unbelievable. But apart from him and Wiedering and Sam Darcy, we'll get to the Dogs in a second. Apart from him, geez, everyone just looks tired and slow and sore and big, and none of them can kick it. It's like, what is going on down at Carlton? Yeah. What did you do preseason? So and then the next biggest picture worry is you don't have a first rounder this year because you traded it to get Jagger Smith. So he is your first rounder next year. But Tassie are coming into this competition and you've got a 30-year-old Cripps and a 30-year-old Curnow and a 30-year-old Wiedering, and you're never going to trade them or cut them or delist or get rid of them. But when are you getting the picks to rebuild? When Tassie, this needs to start getting spoken about how much trouble the Blues are in if you don't start winning games this year. Let's get on to the Dogs. Sam Darcy and Jacob Wiedering had an awesome battle. Yes, Wiedering got him in the first half. I think Sam Darcy got him in the second half. Sam Darcy is a bit of a dog. He's a bit of a competitive dog. He just started throwing them. He started hitting blokes late. He'll punch someone in the throat if he has to. And then he takes a mark. He still bites off kicks. He bit off that one right at the end of a quarter. It was a shocker into the corridor, nearly cost him. But the Dogs have absolutely found one in this Davidson kid. What's his fucking name? Sam Davidson. Number 42 on the wing. He has been good every week for them.
Yep.
They have found one in him. How old is he?
I think he's 24, maybe.
23-year-old, 190 centimetre winger. He gets the ball every week, 30 touches. He had 9 in the third quarter, 9 in the fourth quarter. So 18 second half touches. Just got it done for him. Watching Tom Liberatore right now is just like, we know he's a larrikin and he's a bit of a, he's a funny guy and he has that look that he doesn't care. It's honestly like him and Bont go head to head before the game and he's like, I fucking got you. I bleed for this club. And he just gets it done for the Dogs to just win games. He has been unbelievable in Bont's absence. No one's going to appreciate Bont coming back more than Libba, where he can go back to being a gun that's also just a role player and a bodyguard for Bont to dominate. Who else? Sam Darcy, 2 goals, 17 touches, awesome. Matt Kennedy was awesome for the Dogs.
He was always
kicked the perfect goal. We messaged the perfect goal. The tap backwards, and he was a bit behind. He just stuck the hand out, got it, snap goal. They were good. Buku Karmas looked all right, and what's his name? Rory Lobb is having an underrated season in the back line, and he is a beautiful kicker of the football. 2 weeks in a row, I've been in awe at the way he kicks the ball. So I knew this was going to happen with the Dogs. They are a good football team. They're a well-coached football team. They're slowly going to get Bont back. Then they're going to get Treloar back, and guys are going to start coming back in. Maybe Jamara, probably not. And it's like, they're going to be good to go. So happy for the Dogs. 2-1 start without Bont. They would have paid for that. So, yeah.
I've got one here. Is Libba the best player to never win an All-Australian?
Oh, I don't have the list in front of me, but yeah, he'd be up there.
He'd be up there. I'm not sure how many times he's been in the squad of 40, but he is unbelievable. Jeff.
1 goal, 30 touches, 11 tackles. He was awesome.
He had 28 touches and I think a point in a win against North. And then that loss against the Pies last week, he was incredible as well. We had like 30 and a goal. Sam Davidson as well, Jeb, guy at work, played footy with him at Mafra, won a few flags with him there. And he always said that he was a gun, but he wasn't sure if he was, well, he never thought he was going to be AFL gun. But, some of those guys, doesn't matter what team you put him in, their game just stays the exact same and they can just plug into any side and that's just their standard. They can just adapt. But he said he was always super athletic, but, mate, he's come in and just been a live wire. That's what I mean. There's guys out there. He's a mature age recruit. There's so much talent out there. And sometimes if you just give these guys, maybe if you draft him as an 18-year-old, he wasn't ready, but he needed a few extra years, maybe put on a little bit of size. But, yeah, he was so impressive. He carved us up. He was running all day. So, yeah, Doggies, awesome win. That's what I mean. You just got to stack wins this time of year.
Stack wins. Doesn't matter how they come, just stack them. So, yeah, good game. Have you got any odds on this game?
Yeah, I do. So, Libba had 30 touches, Jev.
Yeah.
So, he was 235. Now, you had Davidson that had 30, but you couldn't get him for 30, but we can get him for 25 touches. He was $12.
Yep.
For 25. Who else had 25?
Tom DeConning, George Hewitt, Adam Chera.
Yeah, George Hewitt was $1.45.
That's so short.
Yeah, I know.
Chera, he's a good player. He gets it every week, so that's why it's short. But geez, it's short.
Chera was $1.70. Tom DeConing was $2.90.
That's nice.
I think that was a career game. Anyone else?
Walsh got 26. Riley Sanders had 1 goal, 24. That's one of his better games as a pro.
Walsh
and then go goals.
Yeah, goals. So I know.
Kemp for 5. What was he? 51-1 for 5, wasn't he?
Yeah.
If you told me Brody Kemp was going to kick 5, like you messaged me, he goes, Jeff, I travelled in time and Brody Kemp kicks 5 on Friday night. He's 51-1. Have tenner on you. I have tenner on it. I would have just laughed at you and not had tenner on it. Not 100%. A chance in hell he kicks it. So Brody Kemp for 5 was 51. Kerno, he's back. He kicked 3. It was like watching 2 different blokes play. compared to the bloke that played last week and then the guy that played this week, until about halfway through the third, he ran out of gas again. He looked tired again. He looked underdone, but it's good to see him. He's about 2 weeks away from being the Charlie Curnow we know and love.
So for 3 goals, he was $2.30, which is still a pretty good price. Anyone else?
Lewis Young, James O'Donnell for 2. You probably couldn't have got him because they were named in the back line, both of them.
Lewis Young or O'Donnell. Yeah, no, you couldn't.
And then James O'Donnell. And then Matt Kennedy.
Matt Kennedy for 2 was $8. His family would have been gobbling that. 100%.
Yeah, they would
He
have.
just would have said, guys, I'm 100% getting on this. So, Jeff, it's tough sledding for the Blues. So we've got
Collingwood on a Thursday night. Off a bye. They're off a bye.
In another blockbuster. Then we're going to Adelaide, where we got West Coast, which West Coast can be competitive.
They'll lick their lips against Carlton.
Matt Owens will probably kick fucking 5 goals against us. And then we've got North Melbourne after that on a frisky Good Friday. And North Melbourne look good. So it's going to be, anyway. Jeff, this is membership in the microwave season.
Let's move on to Saturday, 1:20, MCG, Red Footies. We called this from a mile away. The Suns absolutely pants the D's by 58 points. This was the easiest tip of the week. The Suns are fucking awesome. Are awesome. They are so good to watch live. Rowell and Anderson are as good as any 1-2 in the game. I'd nearly take them over any 1-2 midfield in the game. They are unbelievable, the two of them. Matt Rowell gave Clayton Oliver an absolute bath, and Anderson probably gave Petrarca an absolute bath. Ben King looks good.
Yep.
He eased into it, but he was working hard. Our man, Bailey Humphrey, he had a hell of a first half.
Yep.
I think he had what did he have at halftime? 1 and
probably 13 touches or something.
1 and 13. Jeez, he looked good in the first half.
He looks huge.
Sam Flanders, he's big. He's big. So he had 8 touches and 6 touches, 1 and 14 at halftime. He was great, the Bear. Anyway, let's just talk about the game.
Yeah. So I think you called it more than me. I definitely thought the Suns were winning. You said they were a lock over 40. I said, look, maybe Melbourne might keep it a little bit closer, as Melbourne were really impressive against the Giants when we were there. And I thought they had a pretty shit game against at the Roos under the lid. So I'm like, look, maybe they've got to show a little bit. But the Suns blew them out of the water. It was borderline non-competitive. I went back and watched the mini as well today. God, there's some times where Petrarca cracks his shits, or he got caught walking a few times, and players look disinterested. And that's what we said at the start of the year. We're like, we actually don't know what Melbourne we're going to get.
Yeah.
And I feel this is the Melbourne that we're going to get for the entire year. I think we can almost put a line through them for top 8. I don't think that they're going to get that back. The fact that their midfield was meant to be their trump card, and that's meant to be, this is what we can hang our hat on. I know contest and defense, they got absolutely bullied from pillar to post in the middle.
That's 2 weeks in a row as well.
Witsy went up in the middle, and that stat sheet, like when you look through just Rowell, Anderson, Took, when they're all getting their hands on it, their transition game looked like chalk and cheese, like compared to what the Ds were and what they were putting out. And we know that their preseason dimmer, their mantra is fight like fuck. Yeah. And at almost the end of every training session, they're doing 4 to 5 minutes of wrestling, and the ability of them when the ball's on the ground to get first hands, or if not, to tackle a guy and then bounce back up like cats.
Yeah.
Like that's obviously what they practice. And when they're going forward, they look so potent. They've got so many guys that can actually kick goals. They're not like a team where you just have to go to Ben King. Jed Walter can come out the back, but their midfielders push forward as well. And as they're coming through, so many guys just streaming back towards goal. They're fit. They don't have to log up their forward line. So they just move in waves.
Yeah.
And God, once they get going, Will Powell can chip over one side closely. Like Bodie Hewland looks massive, Jeff.
He's huge. In person, Sam Collins is a mountain in person. Yeah, the luxury of having Took and Sam Flanders, they play at half forward. They're as fit as and professional as any two in the comp, and they just play up and back, but in that forward half where Rowell and Anderson are just getting the job done. Bailey Humphrey spitting through there, and guys are spitting through there. And one thing I noticed yesterday is closing down space to stop uncontested marks and smothers and making sure tackles stick. Things good teams do. When you go watch them live, it's like the amount of smothers or like little hands they get to balls to stop like run and uncontested marks going. It's like that is that fight like fuck thing Bailey Humphrey was telling us about. Like it's not easy playing the Suns anymore. They make it hard and they make you pay if you turn the ball over. They had blokes lining up to kick snags at the end. So Ben King, what was it? Ben King ended up with 4 Touk Miller 3, Will Graham 2, Humphrey, Long, Noble, Weller, Flanders, Ethan Reed, Jared Witts, Jed Walter, Noah Anderson all kicked 1. How many different goal kicks is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different goal kickers. So only 10 blokes for the Suns didn't kick a snag. They were so good to watch live. And Jared Witts as well.
He's awesome. I've loved him for a long time. He's such a good footballer.
So they are dominant live, the Suns. They're confident now. They know it. You think they still haven't played one game at People First Stadium. They're 2-0 on the road this year.
Yeah,
2-0 on the road. Now they've still got their 11 games on the Gold Coast. They get north of the Barossa Valley in gather around in a couple of weeks. Like they are setting themselves up. Yeah, I can nearly watching them live. It's like I can nearly lock them into my 8. Dust, let's talk about the challenge we did. The 2-4-6-8 challenge, AFL challenge. It was all over our Insta. We had a good time doing it. I'm positive. There's 8 billion people on this planet, 7 to 8 billion. You are the only person on earth that's finished the challenge. 1, because we invented it last week and we're the first to try it. And 2, it is bloody hard and we can't wait to see if anyone else. So I got the 6 pies, the 8 beers done, but did not have 1 sip of Jimmy. I just couldn't. I only finished my last beer in the 4th quarter. I was full. I couldn't get it down. My guts were curdling. It was hard work. The pies get big on you. Darcy, you got it done with about 8 minutes to go to 3/4 time. Talk to us.
Yeah, I went hard early and I was shitting myself and I almost had an out. I had some Oporto for Smoko at like 11 o'clock and I'm like, I probably shouldn't have done that, but I think it held me good stead. So I had an Oporto wrap, a hash brown, and an orange juice. But we got in there, and then cousin Mike behind the camera was awesome. He came down and he brought a tray of heavies. So he got the Carltons. I said, "Can we stick to the Northerns? These things are going to get heavy." So I had 2 Carlton drafts straight off the bat, 4 pies. So yeah, 4 pies and 4 beers to quarter time, and I was on track for a big day, Jeff. I was on track for 16 beers and 16 pies, but I thought I'd peg it back. No, it was feeling pretty good. I feel like by the time I could really get through the Northerns, and I smelled blood in the water, Jeff, and we got to close to the 3rd quarter. I said, I can get this done here. So crunched the pies, and then the bourbons were an absolute treat. I was like Cadell Evans, Jeff. If anyone doesn't know, Cadell Evans, he'd locked up the Tour de France, and the last day he's there just drinking champagne with the yellow jersey. I'm like, that's what it felt at 3/4 time. That's what it felt when I was drinking the hard solo in the last. I knuckled down, I got to work, and I could really just enjoy the last quarter. Now, I think this challenge, just because I've done it once, you've got to take you reckon I can't do it again, even though I got it done in
it's
3 quarters.
Hard. It is so hard.
I think depending on the place, because the pies were pretty like easy to get. No, like they weren't easy to get down, but if you went to like a Warren Road bakery in Parkdale,
you have full on big fucking bakery pies.
There's no way you're doing 6 of those pies.
Lukewarm 420s. You got to get them done in about 3 bites. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Or even if you were sitting like behind the glass, like having like heavy beers and bigger pies, like I think it would be tough. So definitely a challenge we can do elsewhere. Would love to try it at the Gabba, maybe in Adelaide Oval, maybe over in Perth one day. So it'd be good to try it at a few different places. Would love to know if some other people can get it done as well. But yeah,
let us know. If you're ever going to have a crack at it, let us know. We'll send you the little photo we put on the bottom of our stories, the challenge you do it. You can upload it to your story all day. We'll reshare some of it. So it's not easy to do. It's not easy. Melbourne Das.
Yep.
You know, I've got my overrated side. You know, I've got the overrated midfield. I know Sarong was good today. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm putting Jacob Van Rooyen at full forward and Bailey Fritsch at forward pocket. Yep. Bailey Fritsch is the most overrated forward in the game. He fucking sucks. Can we just say it how it is? He stinks. He fumbles if it's on the ground, and then when he finally gets some good set shots, I think he had a couple of free kicks. They were both in front of us. He had 2 set shots that he used to kick 10 out of 10 straight through the middle, and he missed them both. It's like, what are you in the side for? If you look scared when it's time to put the head over the ball, and then when you get a shot at goal, you just shank it. So he stinks.
You know who else I want to roast? the Melbourne supporters. They are weak as water.
Heaven's waiting room. Jeez, it was
Oh.
old at the MCG on Saturday.
Oh my God. What did
They've
you
got some
call it?
old supporters, the D's. Oh my God. It was heaven's waiting room. Jesus Christ. You could the line for the beer was 1 second. A line for a cup of tea was 25 minutes. It was an old crowd at the G. And then it was just
Oh.
us making a mess of ourselves. But
Yeah.
yeah, they don't come, do they?
They could honestly take out the chairs at the MCG and just put couches. Like that's how much room we had. We had an aisle to ourselves,
Yeah.
sitting back. Like there's no, you don't have to wait to go to the piss. Don't have to wait to go get a beer or a pie. It's just straight up. We could literally sit wherever we wanted. Like
Yeah.
I think there was 28,000 there on the day, and that's so bad as a Melbourne supporting base. Like I guarantee Petrarca's gone. There is no way that he's going to stay there for another year, Jeff.
Yeah. It's just, how is it going to work?
He'll just crack the shits and just say, I don't know.
They say he wants to end up at Collingwood, but how are Collingwood going to make that work?
I don't know. I don't know, but I know. I'm sure because he got rid of his management as well.
Yeah.
Oh, who knows? He just looked disinterested. And as a Melbourne supporter, like, are we going to put a line through them now at round 3 saying they're not making finals? I'm happy to say yes.
Yeah, well, Stephen May doesn't look interested, does he? Jake Laver didn't play. All I think about is Gawn, Petrarca, Oliver, May, and Lever. Forward line, Cozzy Pickett. When does Cozzy Pickett play?
Who knows?
I don't know. Anyway, Oliver's playing good footy. Gawn looks just a fraction older, a fraction slow. He's still a gun, but just a fraction. Petrarca looks disinterested.
Yep.
May looks disinterested, and Lever didn't play. It's like, we'll give them a couple of weeks with their best side, but they're nowhere near the Gold Coast Suns. Like, not even in the same tier as the Suns. So if the Suns rock up to town and beat you by 10 goals on your home deck, it's like, well, now you've got to be better than the Suns, and teams are probably better than the Suns as well. Yeah, anyway. I can tell you in this game, Tuke Miller was paying 21 to kick 2. I don't know what he was paying for 3. Matt Rao was paying $7 for 35 touches.
Yep.
That's about all we got.
That's all we got for that game. But, Jeff, it was awesome. I can't wait to go watch the Suns down the track. Now we've got a cool little scarf. You weren't too happy with it. I'm happy with the scarf, Jeff. I'm happy with the scarf. I think the
it's like a little Burberry the Burberry Suns almost. I call it. It's pretty nice, the Suns scarf. Let's move on to the next game. The Saints give the Tigers the pumping we probably all thought they would. 82 points it ended up being. I think it was saying like 90-19 after halftime. It was the Tigers kicked 2 goals 4 after halftime, and the Saints kicked 14 goals 14 or something. 14 goals 9. So they gave him a touch up. Das, they were the exact same list age on the day. It was like it was like 23.5 or something. The exact same list age demographic. And it just shows where different they are in their rebuild and how they rate different players, because the Saints gave him a bath after halftime.
I said last week, a player's going to get 40 touches soon. Who is it? And it's Sinclair. So
Jack
Sinclair came out and had 40 touches. Again, we don't have the odds exactly on this. This will all be on Gold Rush, though, on the pod once we
he was 14-1 for 40.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Wow. There you go. There you fucking go. But, yeah, it was close at halftime, wasn't it? Because
it was.
We were
getting some texts from the Saints supporters saying they were nervous. They weren't playing too well.
And then they just kicked away. So the Butcher's dog, Jev, I'm going to have to do a mini pyramid for the Smalls, and he's right up there. He's right up there, Jeff. He's kicked 11 goals so far this year.
Yeah, it's Max King owes him some cash, I'm saying, because he has held him down. Dust, do you think the Saints, we can't talk shit about the Saints. They've started 2-1. If you told the Saints you're going to be 2-1 and you lost to Adelaide, and you're 2-1 after round 3, Carlton would love to be 2-1. The Swans 100%. Would love to be 2-1.
Yep.
The Saints are 2-1. Good on them.
Melbourne would love to be 2-1.
Melbourne would love to be 2-1. They've done what they've had to do. They've won where they've had to win. Max King's not playing. All credit to him. All credit to him. The only one I've got. No, this was the one. This is the take I've got for the Saints. I asked you this: if you dropped Zach Merritt and Zach Butters into this St Kilda side, would they win a premiership by the year 2030? Zach Merritt and Zach Butters play for the Saints next year onwards to 2030. Would they win a premiership?
Well, I said probably still no, but they might be close. But I'm starting to get more convinced that if Zach Butters doesn't sign this year, he's going to go there.
I,
He,
I
they've got
reckon.
they've got so much cash.
I'm pretty
and
sure they play each other. I think they go to Adelaide Oval this week.
He's out of contract.
Port Adelaide versus the Saints at Adelaide Oval. There will be the old verbal contract that they gave Finn Callahan, like, hello, Zach, nice to meet you. We've got 1.9 a year for the next 5 years for you to come to Moorabbin.
Did you hear the head of football or whatever at Port Adelaide was on Sports Day the other week, and they were pretty much just talking about Zach Butters. He's like, well, look, plain and simple, Zach's going to get paid.
Yeah.
So, like, he can pretty much ask for whatever he wants, and we're trying to shuffle money around for Miles Bergman as well, because we know clubs are going to come. He's like, we have money saved, but essentially they're going to get paid, and they're going to get paid like whatever they want. So knowing that, he's going to have a really hard bargain to push up. So if he says, you know what, you gave Connor Rose the captaincy, maybe he wants to come back to Victoria, mate, he'll get some serious coin. If he sees Port on the way down, you've got a lot of the team members which will slowly start to retire. So you've got Wines that's coming into the back end of his career.
Bogue.
You got Bogue that's leaving the side. It's going to be a different side. He's like, you know what? Maybe I do come home. So watch his one. But Zach Butters to St Kilda wouldn't be the craziest thing of all time.
I can see it from a mile away, and he's probably going to get a little overpaid. But yeah, that's exactly what they need. That midfielder. Then they draft a midfielder, and
then they're away.
There's a star. Rowan Marshall's a star.
No, I love it. So, yeah, as I said, we don't have all the odds on this game, but St Kilda fans, 82 points. That's an absolute drumming.
Mitch Owens had a good start to the season. He's kicked 4 goals. Seth Campbell's an underrated footballer. Kicking 3 goals, 2 in a side that only kicks 7 goals. Like I couldn't have, and like I saw him do the backflip live round 1 against the Blues, but geez, I wouldn't have known who he was. But he pops up every week and he kicks snags to the Tigers. He's a good player, Das. I got to give him love. But yeah, look at these guys. The Saints fans absolutely love Max Hall. They love Lance Collard. Jack Higgins is just a stud. Mason Wood's been as consistent as any player in the league the last, 18 months.
Mate,
like
these
guys, Isaac Keeler kicks 1. Darcy Wilson, 20 touches and 1. He's just getting better and better. I can see it with the Saints. Ross is an absolute genius. I think they can go to Port Adelaide and win this week. I know Port Adelaide usually give teams a touch-up. They've played their game at Adelaide Oval already. They've got about 4 more games at Adelaide Oval in the next 3 weeks. But they already played the Crows at Adelaide Oval. They'll know what they did wrong that day. I reckon they're an absolute chance to beat Port Adelaide this week.
Yeah, 100%. That's actually, I'd love to know what the odds are.
I think Max King's close as well.
What are the odds early on that game? It is? Yeah, wow. St Kilda at $2.56.
Oh, so it's
Porter $1.51. Favorite, mate. 100%. Get a lot of those points.
Put it this way, I would not be touching Port at $1.51.
Nah. So St Kilda at the Lions, 12.5. I'd take that line for
100%.
sure.
100%.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure Max King's close. We'll have to ask some Saints supporters. Let's get in the next game. The prelim preview, the grand final preview. I don't know. But the Hawks win again. They've won by 12 points. They've come from behind in Tassie. They just know how to get it done, Das.
Yes, the 36-point down. They mentioned it was a 4 or 5 goal breeze. And the Giants just got off hot onto a hot start, and they just went with it. And you just think, finally, is the magic worn off the Hawks a little bit? Were they not ready? I definitely don't think that it's not that they were ready or they got jumped. It's once the quarter flipped, you notice how much the breeze was.
Yeah.
It was like playing at Williamstown. And it's weird to think sometimes it's like, how can you be so bad with the breeze? But some games it just is. So the Giants got off to a really good start. The Hawks clawed it back. And then the third, the Hawks were able to weather it and even kick a few into the breeze. And then they just ran away with it the last. Obviously, the last little bit of the game, the last 10 minutes, bit of an arm wrestle. Giants were still in the game, but the Hawks definitely did enough to put them away. And it's just unbelievable how good it is that that team win. That's exactly what they needed. I feel they've had a few wins where they've smashed sides, but this is one of the first games where they had a lot of adversity against a really good outfit.
Come from behind.
A really good outfit, and they can be like, you know what? We can do it. We can still do it. This is another feather to their cap. This is another one we can hang our hat on. Just be like, boys, we have this in our game now as well. We know how fit we are. I went through and watched did you watch the Full Sweat doco with Sam Mitchell? Oh, you can just see everything that comes out of his coaching. He's like, it's all in the details. He told them he wants to split them up into groups of 8, and they went into a group of 7. There were 7 groups. He's like, the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
He's like, if I can't get you guys to do this here, how the fuck can we perform on the weekend? Now get into groups of 8, just little things like that. And that's what he's trying to push. And he's like, all these things are going to come out on game day. It's all about the little things. And they just look like a team.
Yeah.
They look like such a team. And last year we thought that they were really brash. They were celebrating heaps, but they've sort of pulled away from that a little bit more, haven't they? They're like, all right, this is what we are now. Let's lock in. They're still celebrating, but
It's
they
just
don't
business, though. It's just business for him, isn't it?
they-
Like,
they-
you look at Nick Watson's game, and we think he's the biggest rock star in the league. I actually screenshotted this. It was on Twitter. Let me find it. Here we go. Hate on him. He'll just get better. Nick Watson versus GWS. 21 touches, 1 goal, 2 marks, 5 tackles, 5 intercept possessions, 9 score involvements, 14 pressure acts, 430 metres gained, 5 inside 50s, 3 1%ers. Like, this isn't a rock star, me, 3 kicks, 3 goals, small forward. Nah, this is a complete footballer that just plays as a forward pocket in the forward half of the game. Like, he's a stud. Like, just a stud footballer. He's a footballer's footballer. They've added another one, the Hawks. Das, I just have to talk about it. I'm not bringing up the team who Swans take. I'm not doing that. But if they don't win the premiership now, it's a bust season. So they're premiership or bust now. They're 4-0 on top of the ladder. It's premiership or bust. It's a failed season if they don't win it. So how are they going to handle it from now? So they've got to go from now, where it's like, this is exactly what the Swans went through last year. Make sure you're not peaking too early. Lock up top spot. And now you've got to win the flag because you've flagged favourites at round 4, and everyone knows it's if you don't win it now, it's a bust of a season, it's a waste of a season. You don't get many chances. If you don't take them, you miss. So they are premiership favourites, and they should be, but are they peaking too early? I watched it last year. Remember how good the Swans were till round 10? We were 10-1, and everyone's like, are they peaking too early? This and that. And I was just like, no, they're not. They're fine. And they did everything right, and they just got it wrong grand final day. This is exactly what Hawthorn are about to go through. They're just going to win every week. Like, they're going to win so many games. They're probably going to win 18, 19 games, maybe lose 4, and I don't know who they're losing to. Are they showing too much too early? Like, Jesse Hogan, he kicked 4. He got a little bit of a hold of their back line this week. It's like a little crack starting to show and stuff. I don't know. But, like, I'm telling you, if they don't win the flag now, it's a bust season. It's a failed season. So how are they going to handle that? Because now it's premiership or bust territory. It's not like they've started, 6-3 or whatever, or 3-1. And it's like, yeah, they've got some flaws. Nah, they're perfect right now. No one's beaten them. They've already beaten the GWS, who everyone has making the grand final. So it's like, yeah, are they ready for that? Are they ready for that? Because that's where they're at now.
I'm just so excited to watch them continue on. I think they've got so much more things. Like, they just want to stack wins this time of year. They're definitely not a perfect product. And then you put that down to you watch the Essendon game. They won. They didn't win super pretty. They didn't smash them. But it's like, let's just chalk up the wins and let's get our game to exactly how we want to play by the time we get to finals. Because they did. I went back and watched a little bit of that Port Adelaide final. And, God, they should have got them. Like, Port got smashed by you guys the next week. Like, they weren't a good side. No. And I reckon they know they missed that. And it was a heavy review. And they look at that now and Sam Mitchell's got a really good plan in place for how exactly they want them to play. But again, they've got another guy. I did mention our Hawthorn preview, Jeb, that Cam McKenzie had the biggest preseason out of anyone. So when he came out, he was the 2IC to Will Ashcroft in all from Sandy Dragons. They won all the flags, Vic Metro, everything. He was the 2IC. He's the one that no one really was talking about, but was still getting unbelievable numbers. And on the weekend, Jeff, he looks identical to Sam Mitchell.
Yeah.
He moves like him, so he had the 30 disposals. I just want to know, because I went back and watched the mini. I didn't watch the full game because obviously we were still out. But where the hell was for the Giants? Did Stringer even kick a goal? Nah, 3 points. Nah. I didn't see him in any of the highlights. Like, did he have a bit of a dog of a day?
Yeah, a little bit. He had a couple of all right shots. He did look touch behind the beat. He needs to ease into it. But Jesse Hogan didn't. Jesse Hogan has turned himself into a professional. Like, the old Jesse Hogan, if he was missing footy, he would have gotten fat and not been fit enough and, like, he's a bit of a party boy. Now he's just like, he comes back in, he kicks 4, doesn't miss a beat. It's like, yeah, there's the best forward in the comp we all remember from last year. He's a fucking beast. So he's kicked 4, just back off the thing. Tobes has had another big day. They put Finn McGuinness to Finn Callahan. Finn McGuinness had 25 plus touches. He was $41 for 25
That is
touches. Cam McKenzie
unbelievable.
was 19 for 30. We didn't say it before. Seth Campbell was $13 for 3 in the last game. We didn't say that. But yeah, so like Whitfield's had 34, Green's had 31, Ash's had 30. And yeah, the Hawks got him. Geez, Will Day, he's kicked one goal,
Oh,
24
my
touches. And what did
God.
Newcomb have? 1 goal, 21 touches. Geez, their numbers aren't matching up with what the eye test is saying.
Yeah.
They just get it done, those
Yeah.
two. They
Yeah.
get it done. Their stats
Will-
don't look like Merits and Rosies and stuff,
Yeah.
but the winning and the impact on winning does. And they're the players I absolutely love. They're absolute stars, those two. This was a good game. Good game of footy. Two
That's the
good
best.
sides. Is it going to be the grand final preview or the prelim preview? I
I
can't
think-
see it being the prelim preview because I reckon they're both playing a home prelim, these two.
Yeah,
I reckon the Hawks are playing on the G. I
final.
reckon the Giants are playing in Sydney. So
We need a few more weeks to watch, Jev, but I feel it could be, I know a close comp, but it could be a very top heavy. I reckon we might have like 4 or 5 teams that just start to run away with the rest of the comp, and the rest are just sort of middle of the pack, and then you've just got the last two at the end. But yeah, Finn McGuinness having 25, he's another one that's sort of in and out of the side and would really want to cement in that spot. So he'll want to put his hand up every week, say, give me the best opposition, and I'll just try and tag him.
off the half forward line, go find them, get to them. One, Das, I more want to hear from Hawk supporters. Is Jack Ginnivan in the 100% every player's fit best 23 at the club? So he's had...
Yeah, no, because he's definitely not fit, because that was the thing. His ankle was fucked all
Right, he's had
preseason.
12 touches. He plays on that sort of like he goes on he sort of puts himself next to a dangerous fullback and tries to get him out the back and antagonize a bit. And he plays his role well, but he hasn't kicked a goal he hasn't kicked many goals.
Nah. Well, that's why I think they're lucky. They've got the luxury at the moment where they can almost run him, try and get fitness in the side while the rest of the team is still really good.
Yeah.
So they don't have to run him. It's like, hey, just let's try and get some match fitness while the games are on.
Henry Hustwaite has to be in the side soon. You've seen the numbers he's putting up in the VFL. He had like another 39 or something. He's coming into the side soon. Is it Ginnivan that makes way, or is he just a midfielder? Is Ginnivan, because we love role players. I absolutely love role players. So he's Ginnivan that role plays. He there, Neil Bullen there, whatever. So anyway, that's one Hawthorn supporters can answer for us. We don't have many odds on this game. Let's get to the next one. Saturday night, doubleheader. Lions, Cats at the Gabba. The Lions are just professional winners at this point, Das. They just know how to win football games. They're in their Hawthorn 3-peat era, their Richmond 3 and 4 year era of they can start. They put the same 15 blokes out for the last 3 years, and they just know what to do in any situation. And the lead was never a worry for them. They just got back to basics. They just do what they do, and they just came back and won. And like it was nothing. They just get it done. And I saw people saying today, like, the Lions can't keep getting away with this. They've beaten the side they beat in the prelim last year. They've come back from 5 goals down. They came back from 4 goals down against the Swans, who they beat in the grand final, and they beat the Eagles. What's going to happen when they go 5 goals up? They're not going to lose that lead. They're just professional winners. They just know what they're doing. Harris Andrews just starts taking over, and Neil gets involved, or McCluggage, or Dunkley, or all these guys. It was Bruce Revel for about 4 minutes in the third quarter, just went bang, bang. He set up a goal. He kicked a goal.
Yeah.
The crowd's just chanting, Bruce. And they just know. They brought Kai Loman back. They brought Charlie Cameron back. Cam Rain is starting to get going. Zach Bailey doesn't miss his chances. They're just putting a good product out in the park. I do not worry about him in the slightest. They just know what a footy season looks like. Them being 3-0, considering they were zipping 3 last year, this is scary. They're just timing. So I think it's a bit different to Hawthorn. I think they'll know how to handle it because they've been there. They've done it the last couple of years. They know exactly what it's going to look like, and they're just going to be timing their run like they've done forever. So yeah, to come back and beat Geelong isn't easy, and they did it pretty easily.
And I feel even if they do lose a couple games, it's the pressure is nowhere near there, Jeff, because the monkey's off the back. When you've won a flag, it's just like, all right, we can give them some time. But 4 goals down at halftime, and then Geelong don't score again. So I actually don't know where I see Geelong.
They're pretty
So
Cheap.
they flog Freo at home, and then
Yep.
we're like, oh my God, are the Cats going to do it again? They looked so bad against the Saints, and then they've run out of legs
Yes.
again. So is this where we play the age card? It's like, are they getting older? Are they looking a bit slow? Are they a bit of a one-trick pony? Like, does everyone know if you don't allow like guys like Grind Myers and Dangerfield and these playmaking, line breaking players to have an influence on the game, you're going to shut them up.
Yeah.
You're going to shut them up. And that's the thing with Brisbane, Jeff. They've got so many tricks. They've got so many guys that can get their hands on. Will Ashcroft, 33 and a goal. McCluggey's for
He's
30.
a freak.
Zorko, 28. 26 for Dunkley. Lockie Neal only had the 20 touches. But when you go play them up there, you got to get ready for a track meet because it's quick. It's quick at the Gabba. And I'm not sure that the Geelong Cats travel too well up in the heat. And God, they just look so good. Zach Bailey can hit the scoreboard. Cam Rayner, I know he's just the most frustrating player in the AFL because he's got everything, but his 15 touches can be like an 80% impactful on the scoreboard, and he just gets them going. But where is he?
I don't think there's a better game winner in the competition than 36-year-old Dane Zorko. Last quarter, 5 disposals, 5 kicks, 1 goal. Did the exact same thing against the Swans. Just when it's like he's like the Sicily, but he's a small halfback, half forward of the Lions. He goes, if it's time to win, and I'm getting tagged at halfback, I'm taking this tagger forward, and I'm kicking the winning snags. Kick the sealer, basically. He just is a game winner. He's just a genius football. He's played so much football now. He's played in so many big games. He's seen it all. He doesn't fear any moment anymore because he doesn't really care. He's like, I've got it. I've won the flag now. I've got about 7 BNFs, a couple of All-Australians. I've won the flag now. It's like, if you're going to tag me at halfback, young fella, then you better be able to tag me out of the goal square, and he'll just run forward, kick goals. They just get it done, Das. Will Ashcroft, 33-1. Levi Ashcroft kicked his first goal for the club. Like, they're just good. They're just good. Is the Bailey Smith thing? I know we were right on this last week, and Geelong fans don't like hearing there's no 1 week half in footy. He was chirping a bit. I want to know what happened with it all. Max Home 29-1. If you see, just they weren't good enough. Jeremy Cameron's out of form. He's only kicked the 1. We know he's a stud, but I want to see a big fiver from Jeremy Cameron. Who do they play next week at GMHBA? I know it'll be a game at GMHBA and it'll be a gimme win. I can just tell.
They've got
Melbourne at GMHBA Friday night. That's going to be an ass kicking.
Yep.
And Jed's probably going to kick 7.
Everyone was saying, what are they going to do without Joe Danaher? But it's about what they can do before it gets into 50. That's what makes a really good side. And if you can transition the ball that comes in really nicely, then whoever's inside that 50, the delivery is going to come to them anyway. Jeff, they had 10 players that kicked a goal, 10 individual goal scorers. That's scary. It's tough. You don't know what you're going to do. And then some games, as you said, Cameron's going to get off the leash. But Will Ashcroft is just like, he's just going to be there for 10 years. 10 to 15 years, he's just going to have...
With Levi. Soon it's going to be their midfield. Lockie Neal's not going to last forever. And it's
a 300-game career. Like, you can see him, he'll probably have like 4 cups by the end of it. He's just going to be an absolute star. So that was a great game, Jeff. As you said, good win. And it just feels like that there's... As I said, obviously you still got the Swans to come back and play and a few others, but it does look like Brisbane, Hawks, Giants. There's your box trifecta. Like, pick 2 of those and then, maybe another. And then just
another tier below, they're playing just as good a footy, but just a tier below would be the Crows and the Suns, who we're getting to right now. The Adelaide Crows, Sunday, 3:20. It looked like the perfect day to play footy at Adelaide Oval. Red footy with the Maccas logo. They beat North by 36 points. This game was awesome, Das. This game was awesome. North had a real crack. They had a crack. They just couldn't hold off for long enough, and Adelaide were just kicking their goals, and they've got a lot of good players on the field, the Crows. And they've kicked another 17 goals. They've scored another 114 points. I don't know why they're Australia's team right now, because they're the best team to bet on. They are the best team to bet on. The only losing leg people would have had today would have been Jordan Dawson, 25. Apart from that, Walker, 4, Thilthorpe, 3, Fogarty, 2, Ben Keys, 2, Dan Curtin, 2. I'm going to talk about Dan Curtin in a minute. Sid Draper comes off the bench, kicks 2. Neil Bullen kicks 1. Rankin never kicked 1 today, and then touches. Rory Laird's had 30. Rankin's had 30, Das. Saligo, 28. Peatling, 20. Ben Keys, 2 goals and 20. Mitch Hinge, 20. He was fantastic. So they didn't even need it to be Crouch and Dawson today. They did it a different way. They just spread the field out. The forwards stand nowhere near each other and they pick you apart and they just get it to a one-on-one and they cook and they're good at it. So, yeah, they know what they're doing down there at the Crows right now. Yeah, and, it wasn't even Rochelle today. He's got fractured ribs apparently, a big knee to the ribs, Das. So, yeah.
Well, this is what we have to say. This is where we have to give them credit when they were injured a little bit more last year and down back. Now they've got Malira back. They've got other guys like Jack Worrell. This is another season for him. Guys obviously getting a bit bigger, but just having that pace and not having to waste Rankin just deep forward the entire time. Have him on ball. And this is where, again, we had him in the 100K multi the week before. You get pissed off. He gets subbed off at 3/4 time with 15 touches.
Yeah.
When he's going to be averaging over 20 touches a game, we're like, shit, this is going to be a really good leg. And then he comes out and has 30 today. Like, when you get him in there, got Ben Keys playing him forward. As I said, he's the punisher. The luxury to have him there. So when you have all these guys kicking goals, so you got to watch Walker. Obviously, he's Adelaide's, I think, leading goal kicker of all time. Then Thilthorpe, then Fogarty. Dan Curtin's now down there. You have a few other guys, like other midfielders that push forward. And so Ben Keys gets like the 5th best defender.
Yes.
And he's going to run all day. He had another 2 and 20. Like, that is the perfect team player. And he tackles and he chases and he runs and he opens up avenues. He's a little bit awkward. He does it a little bit differently. But yeah, they're really good. But obviously we like to roast the opposition. But I just want to give them credit, North Jev, that you can see the improvement.
Yeah.
You can see it there. They're just the system that they've finally got. Zerha looks like they actually look just competitive.
Yes.
Like, there's times that comes forward, Zerha, whether he can't get there, like chasing, putting
Curtis
a block
puts
on.
in the effort.
Like, it's they
Larky's
just
a
got beat.
superstar.
They got beaten by a really good side.
They got beaten by a good side. Their backline still worries me a bit, but I think Adelaide are going to do this to a lot of backlines. It's hard. So it's what I want to get to. Thilthorpe gets the number 1 defender. Fogarty gets the number 2 defender. Tex gets the 3rd sort of tall defender. There is no one in footy that has a better role than 20-year-old, 197 centimetre Dan Curtin.
Yeah.
He is a matchup nightmare. He's a freak. Like, so you don't have enough tall defenders to play on him. It says on his AFL thing that he's a midfielder. He moves and runs around like a midfielder. He hasn't missed a shot at goal yet. He doesn't miss when he gets his chance at goal.
Yeah,
he kicks every
100%.
snag. And then you see, because they're winning, he gets to he runs around a bit. He gets to work on his defensive game, or he gets to find himself loose in the pocket. And he just gets to learn footy and be out there and just improve every week in this winning side right now. There's no better role in football than what Dan Curtin's playing right now. A team's going to put some effort into him soon. They have to, because when the Swans play the Crows, it's probably going to be Dan Curtin on Nick Blakey. And it's like, righto, Nick, can you run with Nick Blakey when he's going forward? But can Nick Blakey defend this 197 centimetre freak of an athlete? So, yeah, they've got that one right. And then Sid Draper just comes on. Another guy, started as a sub. He got on earlier than he wanted. Kick 2, moves like the wind. Finished his set shots. Like, another first-round pick they're adding to that forward line with Isaac Rankin and Thilthorpe and Fogarty and Tex and Curtin and Ben Keys and Alex Neil-Bullen. Guys that just work their ass off. So they've just got we roasted their talent in the offseason. Now we just look dumb. When you watch it now, you're like, nah, they got it right this offseason. Who's their performance guys? Is it Darren Burgess they've got there?
Maybe.
Or is it Andrew Russell?
No, it's not Andrew Russell. It might be Burgess.
He's just improved all their running power. Matty Nix has improved as a coach. That Michael Laney's a star. Mitch Hinge is a star. They've just got the back line just being competitive beasts, holding up like Hawthorn do. And, yeah, they just cook teams. Jordan Dawson today just led from just led the team, had his 19 touches, and, yeah, they just got it done.
But same thing again, like smothers, tackles, like shit that you don't see. Like, he smothered, like in the first quarter. I think North went to come bring it out. And he's
same thing, same as the Sun. Smothers, closing uncontested marks, little touch in, sticking your tackles. It's it's just that little being 1% better. So I want to talk about Luke Davis-Uniacke for a sec. Yes, he didn't have the biggest game today, like touches-wise. I see He's the first player I've seen. I see Chris Judd when I look at him. I don't think he's as good as Chris Judd. I see
Yeah,
the
he's got
way he moves is
Yep.
like that's how I remember Judd used to move.
Yep.
Like it's so he sort of looks like him on the field as well, but
No,
he's
no,
got
I'll
hair.
definitely
But
pay
like
it.
they break away from a stoppage at speed, doesn't get much of it, sort of jogs around, but when it's time to go, he's breaking away. I see Chris Judd when I see LDU. I was just looking at it today. I'm like, who does that look like? I'm like,
No,
that
it's identical.
Judd.
They just need to find more ways where they can get him in those situations where he gets half a step. Remember the goal he kicked last year where Tristan Jerry was on, I think it was against St Kilda at Marvel, and he just put it back over his head, flush as, and he took one or two bounces, kicked a goal. You just got to give him an inch because he can absolutely go with it. Again, we're going to get all these odds on
The show
on on Gold Rush because we're going to add up what that Ford's multi would have paid. So Morg's got out a nice little meme, New World Order with the Adelaide players, and the heads just look awesome. They're just going to fill up stats sheets. And as you said, it's time to get Taylor Walker back in the multi a little bit
Yeah.
more. He's going to get the third or fourth banana
Not many guys can match up. He grabs it out of the ruck. Tex Walker for 3.
at
If
home.
they're a Sunday leg,
At
I can
home.
rely on that.
Yep.
At home, there some guy called it, that was Cromination. So they're the Crominators right now. That was Crominations. That's a good little saying for them. Final game of the week, the Derby. I think it's the Derby. We got in trouble both for saying it wrong on it.
Yeah.
Someone commented on the Insta. The Derby. This was always going to happen. Freo win by 38 points. Sarong wins the Ross Glendenning medal. He has, 35 touches. He was bloody good. I knew this was going to happen because you can't call him a top 5 midfielder and then he plays like shit for 2 weeks. It's good to see him back. He was clean. He was fierce at the ball today. It was good to see the Sarong everyone sees. They were good today, Das. They were good. But I don't know if you saw my tweet. Watching Freo is watching 2 hours of them ignoring a miss and Tracy so they can kick it to Pat Voss and he can go back and miss. It's unbelievable how often they kick it to Patrick Voss. It was doing my head in, Das.
It's crazy, mate. But talk about a man that's slow on confidence. Like you just see when he's just missing, he's again. Like he just duffs them. When he kicked that goal, though, you would have thought they won the flag. He went nuts. So want to touch on just for some betting aspects, Jev. You hit the nail on the head, and the odds are definitely going to come in. Ryan Marich, he's starting more backline and he's getting a lot of it. You called it after the first game. You said, if this is going to be a new role for him, we need to get on him. But McGovern, I just thought got outworked a few times today. I think maybe is this where he finally looks, I'm fucked.
I'm cooked.
The body, what did he end up doing? Was it his Achilles or his?
No, he got hit in the head and he was bleeding from his head, I think.
No. You see his leg as well? He came off. It looked like he got shot. And
he hasn't torn his Achilles, has he?
Oh, I hope not. And then walked off. Bolton still waiting for him to break a game open, Jeb.
Nah, he got done by Brady Huff is as good as anyone in the comp at being a back pocket. He just blanketed Bolton today. He gave him the old treatment. And then Bolton finally got him. He tackled him holding the ball. He had to go back and kick it and he missed. And Brady Hoff just got into him. Brady Hoff gave him a bath today. I am Brady Hoff's number one fan as a fellow Wallet. He just blankets small forwards. He's as good as anyone at it.
Brennan Cox got moved aside a few times, Jev.
Brennan Cox. Luke Ryan still looks a bit fat, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
I'm sorry. He looks out of shape. I don't want to say fat. It's not nice. Sarong and Brayshaw were back. Luke Darst's good. Mickey Frederick has nice hands. He was taking some contested marks today. Geez, he was clunking them. Tracy just had a big second quarter. He just kicked 3 in the second quarter. Just went, you know what, game over. I'm pretty sure he had a fair bit of the pill as well. How many touches did he end up with?
Who's that?
Tracy, 13. 3 goals, 13 touches. A miss. He needed to get going. 4 goals, 10 touches. How many did he kick in the last quarter? I think he kicked 3 in the last quarter. So he got on the end of some good work. They I
don't know if it's a miss's face, but he always looks upset. Like I just want to see him. He's just like he's got that upset face. I just want to see him a bit more animated. I want to see him come out and just look a little bit more imposing. Remember when Jonathan Brown I want a miss to do to players what Buckley and Taylor do to forwards. Yeah. I want him to come out there and just look like throw your weight around, just go out there. What about Dudley, Jev? Did you see the photo of him and his family before the game?
His brother looked like his twin.
They are all cut from the same cloth.
His brother, I swear, was like 12 or 13 and had the best mustache I've ever seen. I was
Mate.
like, bro, that is sick.
The
And then
genes in that family are strong. They
it's
all
strong.
look identical.
It was great seeing them, the family like tearing up when he kicked his first goal, and they were so proud. And they looked like there was about 30 of them in the stands. Like, good on them. They would be so proud.
So
And he won a flag with Eddie Betts. It's 168 centimeters. He just ran around like trying to get a kick. It was good to watch. He's got something about him, so that's going to be good to watch.
I can't believe that he's shorter than the Wiz.
Yeah,
He looks taller than Nick Watson.
He must be short. Oh yeah, they're short. Harley Reid, Das. What do you think? What are you making of him?
He's just
trying to play himself fit, isn't he?
Oh, I think so. I think they're trying to just, whether like the Jack Ginnivan, it's like, well, we're just got to play him anyway. But I think they alluded to it on the commentary pretty well. Adam Simpson did anyway. He's like, he's not going to be your 30 disposals every game. Like, he needs to be, as you said, like the Jordan Agoe, like 18-1, 18-3, like just really impactful. But unfortunately, they just have to play more midfield. They just need another couple of guys in there that can accumulate the ball a little bit more and let him be the superstar. But yeah, they just look. It looks like everything's such an effort for him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then if he's not getting it, that's when he looks frustrated. He's like, "Fuck!" Like, definitely didn't throw his hands around as much today. He still did a little bit, but yeah, they just got overrun.
Yeah, they actually played all right. They played all right. They were talking, but Freo just got to that 30-point lead where it was a bit of a buffer. They were never going to lose it. And West Coast, like, you heard Simo talking about it. He's like, what do you do to either try and win the game or lose by 70 points?
Yeah.
Or is Minnie McWalter trying to set standards in a way they want to play at that club? And they were sort of happy to lose by 30 points as long as you keep playing this the way I want to play the game. So it was like, don't worry about winning this game or losing this game. It's like, no, we have to keep trying to play the way we're trying to play. And so they actually played all right and they had a crack. Freo put some immense pressure on, credit to them. And they had sort of a spurt in the second quarter, a spurt in the third quarter, game over. But West Coast, they were up for the fight, West Coast. They just lack a bit of polish. And they lack some players, especially with Jake Waterman back out there. And if you want to keep Oscar Allen, Das, he can't be going to full back to play on Tracy and a miss. He would be fuming at that. He's like, I'm the captain of the club, I'm the centre forward of the club. And he did bugger all. Like, to be fair, he gave him a bar. But then he's like, go play full back for us. He'd just be like, what am I doing here? We're going to be shit for 5 more years. He'll be like, Harley, if you're going to Hawthorn, can I come too? Like, they've got Carlton's first round pick. They're going to have their first round pick. And it's like, can I just come to the Hawks or whatever? So it's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. Yeah, it's good to be back. We'll get all the best odds. You weren't on, you wish you were on Gold Rush on the show. We just didn't screenshot because we were sucking gas at the MCG and time got away from us a bit, dark. It got away. So that is the roast. Thank you for joining us. Powered by PointsBet, powered by Rick's Eyewear. Good work, Das.
What are you prepared to lose today? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.